Hi YouTube. Someone, I don't know, said something, asked me a question, and I just thought about this, and I kind of hastily threw together some information that I had about Pakistan or Fakistan or Philistine or Hamasistan, Palestine, something, I know it's got a name. So I have a few questions, I'll get to those at the end, but first let me present a few things, because I want to start to at least have you see and think about Hamas as a theocracy, just like the Iranian mullahs are a theocracy, so is Hamas. Hamas is a Muslim Brotherhood entity, which means they are 100% behind the Sharia. They want to fulfill the Sunnah of Muhammad, and they are faithful to all the laws of Islam. Let's jump in, let's begin. So, a word from Muhammad. Muhammad said, "You, the Jews, should know that the earth belongs to Allah and His apostle, namely Muhammad, and I wish to expel you from this land, Arabia." That's in Sahih Muslim 4363. Christians, pagans, and Jews were living in Arabia peacefully. Then Islam came along, slaughtered a lot, converted most of them, and drove everyone else out. Arabia was Christian, Jewish, and pagan land. They were living together very peacefully till the Muslims decided to steal the Jewish land. Once I'd start talking about the Sirah, we'll start looking at more of the treatment that Muhammad gave to those who were, not keen to convert, and how especially he mistreated the Jews. Let's see again, confirmation, Sahih Muslim 4366. Umar heard the Messenger of Allah say, "I will expel the Jews and the Christians from Arabia, and I will not leave any but Muslims." So we have double confirmation from the Islamic Sahih Hadith that Muhammad and the Muslims expelled Jews and Christians from their lands in Arabia. Those were not originally Islamic lands. Those were Jewish, Christian, and pagan lands. Let's have a look. Killing Jews. This is Muhammad's example, his sunnah. This is from the Sirat Rasul Allah, translated by A. Guillaume. Sirat Rasul Allah means the biography of the Messenger of Allah. The apostle said, "Kill any Jew that falls into your power." Thereupon Mu'ayyisa bin Masud leapt upon Ibn Sunayna, a Jewish merchant with whom they had social and business relations, and killed him. Mu'ayyisa was not a Muslim at the time, though he was the elder brother. When Mu'ayyisa killed him, Mu'ayyisa began to beat him, saying, "You enemy of Allah, did you kill him when so much of the fat in your belly comes from his wealth?" Mu'ayyisa answered, "Had the one who ordered me to kill him ordered me to kill you, brother, I would have cut your head off." He said that this was the beginning of Mu'ayyisa's acceptance of Islam. The other replied, "By Allah, if Muhammad had ordered you to kill me, would you have killed me?" He said, "Yes. By God, had he ordered me to cut off your head, I would have done so." He exclaimed, "By Allah, a religion which can bring you to this is marvelous." And he became a Muslim. I guess I don't need to explain to you that this is clearly a discussion about a religion of peace. In this case, a piece of you over here and a piece of you over there, and maybe another piece of you somewhere else. Definitely a religion about pieces at the very minimum. Make of that what you will. Now, let's look at Jerusalem and discuss the Islamic invasion of Jerusalem. This is from a book called A Brief Guide to Al-Haram Al-Sharif, Jerusalem. This was published by the Supreme Muslim Council in 1925, as you can see. And interestingly, at the time, the Supreme Muslim Council was headed by staunch Nazi ally and Hitler's friend, the Imam Haj Amin al-Husseini, who became a Nazi, who formed the largest Nazi SS division, the Hanjar, and went about with enthusiasm slaughtering Jews in the name of the Nazis. However, let's have a quick look at something it says here. They speak of the Dome of the Rock, they speak of the main temple site in Jerusalem, and it says, "Its identity with the site of Solomon's temple is beyond dispute. This too is the spot, according to the universal belief, on which David built there an altar unto the Lord." So hey, it looks like even then the Supreme Muslim Council of Jerusalem admitted that this was originally a Jewish holy site. It goes on. "But for the purposes of this guide, which confines itself to the Muslim period, the starting point is the year 637 AD. In that year, the Caliph Omar occupied Jerusalem." So they admit they invaded Jerusalem and took over the Jewish holy sites. I don't know why most people who want to deny that Jerusalem is actually Jewish don't show us this, but yeah, there you go. You want a PDF copy of this? I'm happy to provide it to you. Let's talk about Hamas. Let's talk about the Hamas Conspiracy Charter. This is Article 22 in the Hamas Charter, and I want to say that so many Islamic atheists and Chrislamists who are Muslims pretending to be Christians or misguided Christians love to repeat Hamas propaganda. Let's have a look. Article 22 of the Hamas Conspiracy Charter. The enemies, and they mean the Jews, have been scheming for a long time and have accumulated huge and influential material wealth. With their money, they took control of the world media. With their money, they stood revolutions in various parts of the globe. They stood behind the French Revolution, the Communist Revolution, and most of the revolutions we hear about. With their money, they formed secret organizations such as the Freemasons, the Rotary Clubs, and the Lions, which are spreading around the world in order to destroy societies and carry out Zionist interests. They stood behind World War I and formed the League of Nations, through which they could rule the world. They were behind World War II, through which they made huge financial gains. There is no war going on anywhere without them having their finger in it. This is official Hamas policy. This is in their charter. This is in their constitution. And yeah, talk about conspiracy nuts. But yeah, for all of those who love to spread this, you are spreading Hamas propaganda. You are spreading Hamas conspiracy theories. And I know, yeah, you must be working for their dinars. I hope they pay you well to spread this nonsense. Let's look at Article 32. Zionism's scheming has no end, and after Palestine they will covet expansion from the Nile to the Euphrates rivers. When they have finished digesting the area in which they have laid their hand, they will look forward to more expansion. This scheme has been laid out in the protocols of the elders of Zion. Yeah. This is one source for this. You're welcome to look that up. There are many others. You can go to plenty of places. Let's have a look at another one. Let's look at Yale Law School, a known conspiracy theory site. And this is the Avalon Project. And they're speaking of the what we would call the Islamic resistance movement, because Hamas calls itself the Islamic resistance movement. You see, they are 100% Islamic. And this is all in the name of the most merciful Allah. For a long time, the enemies have been planning skillfully and with precision. They strive to amass great and substantive wealth. They took control of the world media, news agencies, the press, publishing houses, broadcasting stations, and others. With their money, they stirred revolutions in various parts of the world, behind the French Revolution, the Communist Revolutions, secret societies, Freemasons. They were able to destroy the Islamic Caliphate. There's no war without their having their finger in it. Yeah, same stuff. This is what Hamas teaches the Palestinians, and this is what they've managed to use what we would call the world media, news agencies, the press, publishing houses, broadcasting stations, and others to put that out there. And now lots of people, such as Arab Green, Riyad Dawson, and many others have gotten on the bandwagon. But moving on. Hamas and Muslim Brotherhood. And this is in Article 1 and 2 of the Hamas Conspiracy Theory Charter. Article 1. The Islamic Resistance Movement, and that's Hamas, right? The movement's program is Islam. Notice it doesn't say extremist Islam. It's just regular, bog standard, common or garden, normal Islam. From it, it draws ideas, ways of thinking, and understanding of the universe, life, and man. It resorts to Islam for judgment in all its conduct, and it is inspired by it for guidance of its steps. The Islamic Resistance Movement's relation with the Muslim Brotherhood group. Article 2. The Islamic Resistance Movement is one of the wings of the Muslim Brotherhood in Palestine. The Muslim Brotherhood movement is a universal organization which constitutes the largest Islamic movement in modern times. It is also the largest secret society on earth. I don't know why people like Arab Green, Jussie Fats, Handsome Twat, and others don't speak about this. I believe that, I don't know, maybe they're taking those dinas, who knows, but this is from the Hamas document. Apparently it's bad if anyone else does it, but it's perfectly fine if the Muslims do it. It's perfectly fine if a terrorist organization does it. I guess they support terrorist organizations. The Muslim Brotherhood is characterized by its deep understanding, accurate comprehension, and its complete embrace of all Islamic concepts of all aspects of life, culture, creed, politics, economics, education, society, justice, and judgment. The spreading of Islam, education, art, information, And very interestingly, science of the occult. They're Islamic. They're 100% Islamic. They are fully Orthodox Islamic. They're based entirely on Islam. And yeah, they're all about the science of the occult. Please comment below, let me know. And of course about conversion to Islam, because if you don't convert, as I've done in various other shows, directly from the Sharia, never mind the Quran, never mind the Sunnah, from the Sharia, official Islamic law, the official standpoint of Islam, they must convert you. You will submit or you will be killed. Right, but we've been through that. I've done many shows on that and I've shown the documents. Go through my channel, you'll see those. Allah is our objective. The Prophet is our leader. The Quran is our law. Jihad is our way. Dying in the way of Allah is our highest hope. This is the Muslim Brotherhood creed. Yeah, jihad is our way, and dying in the way of Allah is our highest hope. I guess when you do jihad and you try to be a better person, you just have to die, right? Because having more salads, going to the gym, being nicer to your pet, I don't know, walking your dog more often, yeah, that definitely involves dying in the way of Allah, definitely, which is jihad, right? So yeah, this is their creed. This is what they believe. And if you want to read more about it, Ayaan Hirsi Ali has a very interesting article in the Wall Street Journal. The Quran is our law, jihad is our way. And it says, for a sense of the kind of Egypt the Muslim Brotherhood wants to start with its motto. Israel very much belongs to the Jews. I can actually go through I think there's about 40 verses in the Quran that very bluntly, very clearly state that Allah gave Israel to the Jews. So yeah, I'm not going to put that in. I wasn't planning to, but I can certainly, if you want to see them, I will publish a list. You can always prove to me they're not in the Quran. You can tell me I'm lying. So let's see. The Philistinians claim that the ancient Philistines are their ancestors. When I was living in the Middle East, I knew plenty of people from Palestine. They were called the Philistini or Falastini, they call themselves. So they claim that the ancient Philistines are their ancestors. And it's true they take the name from the tribe of Goliath, but do they share DNA? And the answer is no. The Philistines were a seafaring people who came from Crete, the largest of the Greek islands. The Philistines got their name from the Hebrew word plishtim, which means invaders. Palestine means invaded land. Now, why should we call Palestine invaded land? Because when the Philistines invaded Israel in the 12th century BC, they stayed close to the Mediterranean coast. They never settled in Jerusalem or any cities claimed today by the Palestinians. By the 7th century BC, the Philistines had been assimilated by the Assyrians, then conquered by the Babylonians. From there, they disappeared from the pages of history, and experts say no one alive today could prove Philistine lineage. So if the Philistinians want to claim so, they would have to acknowledge that their real ancestral homeland is not Israel, but the Greek island of Crete. So let me get to what I think is substantive here. Some questions about Palestine or Hamasistan or Pakistan or whatever this place is called. When was Palestine founded and by whom? Because if Palestine is a country that goes back to the beginning of history, please give me an answer. Just put it in the comments below. Love to see it. What were the borders of Palestine? What was the capital of Palestine? What were its major cities? What was the underlying economy of Palestine made of? What form did its government have? Can you name at least one Palestinian leader before Arafat? Was Palestine ever recognized by a country whose existence at one time or another leaves no room for interpretation? What was the language of the State of Palestine? What was the most common religion in the State of Palestine? What was the name of its currency? Don't forget, Palestine apparently goes back before the Jews, goes back before Islam. So what was the religion at the time? Love to know. Pick any date. What was the approximate exchange rate of the Palestinian currency against the US dollar, the German euro, the British pound, Japanese yen, or Chinese yuan? Any date, really. Just drop that down below. Leave a link so we can look it up ourselves. Since there's no such country today, what caused the destruction of Palestine and when did it happen? All you historians out there, just jump on that, will you? You mourn the slow decline of the former proud country. When exactly was this state proud, and what was it proud of? Please explain. Are the people that you mistakenly call Palestinians something other than just generic Arabs gathered from everywhere or thrown out the Arab world? Because we know they're simply Jordanians, Egyptians, and Saudis for the most part. Do they really have a genuine ethnic identity that gives them right for self-determination? Why hadn't they ever tried to gain independence until the Arabs suffered a crushing defeat in the Six-Day War? How else can you explain the refusal by Jordan and Egypt to take back the West Bank and Gaza in a dignified manner and unconditionally? And why have they rejected every single peace plan that was put forward? Every single one. Is it anything to do with the fact that they are following Islam and have to destroy the Jews? That's something I'll do more detail on in the future. But yeah. So let me move on to something else. This article, worth reading, worth looking at. The Soviet-Palestinian lie. Let's have a look. The PLO was dreamed up by the KGB, which had a penchant for liberation organizations. And that's from Mihai Patsepa, the former chief of the Foreign Intelligence Service of Romania. Because the KGB, the Russians, hated the Israelis. They were given a black eye. Especially during 1967, the Soviets were funding the Arab League, and of course, they were just annihilated. First, the KGB destroyed the official records of Arafat's birth in Cairo, then replaced them with fictitious documents saying that he had been born in Jerusalem and was therefore a Palestinian by birth. The Islamic world was awaiting petri dish in which we could nurture a virulent strain of America hatred grown from the bacterium of Marxist-Leninist thought. Islamic anti-Semitism ran deep. We had only to keep repeating our themes that the United States and Israel were fascist, imperial Zionist countries, bankrolled by rich Jews. And that's Yuri Andropov, former KGB chairman. And as early as 1965, the USSR had formally proposed in the UN a resolution that would condemn Zionism as colonialism and racism. Although the Soviets did not succeed in their first attempt, the UN turned out to be an overwhelmingly grateful recipient of Soviet bigotry and propaganda. In November 1975, Resolution 3379, condemning Zionism as a form of racism and racial discrimination, was finally passed. So there was a recent discovery that Mahmoud Abbas, president of the PA, the Palestinian Authority, was a KGB spy in Damascus in 1983. Now, of course, yeah, they don't want to talk about that because, I don't know, for some reason the Palestinians can do no wrong. As you know, they didn't do nothing. This is a very well-worth article for you to read. I suggest you do so. And this is Yasser Arafat with Nicolae Ceausescu in Bucharest, 1974. Well worth reading. Not going to go through the whole thing, but you'll find it here, The Soviet-Palestinian Lie. BBC News, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas was a KGB agent. South African converts to Islam plotted jihad attacks on Jewish institutions. Yeah, that makes sense. Convert to Islam, hate Jews. Palestine, authorities crush dissent. Now, why do we never hear about how brutal the Palestinian government is and how incompetent and corrupt they are? Authorities crush dissent in Palestine. When you dissent from the government's mandate, well, yeah. Palestinians tortured, summarily killed by Hamas forces during 2014 conflict. Yeah, of course, they're just wonderful people. Gaza Imam Ahmad Okasha, the jihad in Palestine is the most obvious jihad on the face of the earth. Have a look at this article on Memory TV. Yeah, it's jihad. They have to kill the Jews. It is a requirement within Islam. Abu Hurairah reported Allah's messenger, that is Muhammad, as saying, "The last hour would not come unless the Muslims will fight against the Jews and the Muslims would kill them." I'd say that's pretty self-explanatory. Until the Jews would hide themselves behind a stone or a tree, and a stone or a tree would say, "Muslim or the servant of Allah, there's a Jew behind me. Come and kill him." The stones and the trees would tell the Muslims to kill the Jews. But the tree Garkad would not say it, for it is the tree of the Jews. That's the box thorn. Yeah, there you go. That's their motivation. It's not about land. It's simply because they have to wipe out the Jews. Simple. Let's see. Gazan scholar Dr. Muhammad Suleiman Al-Farah. It is our religious duty to fight the Jews and kill them wherever you may find them. Have a look at this on the memory site. You might find it illuminating. Former Mufti of Egypt, Ali Gomar, Jews plant Garkad trees to hide from Muslims on Judgment Day. Is that a coincidence? You know, so yeah, we found that in the hadith, and there you go. Palestinian who worked with Israel to prevent terror attacks described PA torture. He was working for peace and he got tortured. Maybe they don't want peace. For years, Qatar funded Hamas schools in Gaza where children received weapons training. Yep, these are the kids being taught how to kill Jews. Definitely a religion of peace. Yeah, definitely. Once you're dead, you don't give up. You don't make a lot of struggle. Palestinians, the political detainees no one talks about. Yeah, why not? This Palestinian was tortured, but no one cares because it wasn't by Israel. Well, yeah, when the Palestinians torture Palestinians, they don't really care, do they? Palestinians silencing and intimidating critics, worth looking at. Please have a look through these articles. Have a look at this. Who are the Palestinians in Arab invention? Definitely an excellent YouTube video to watch. Islamic Relief and Qatar implicated in Tunisian terror finance investigation. Very big Islamic charity organization known for its involvement in terrorism. Muslim cleric. The Muslims must hate the Jews. Well worth watching. Those are his words. And then, of course, we go back to the 1925 book that I showed you, the one on the from the Supreme Muslim Council in Jerusalem. It was headed by this man, Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem in Nazi Germany in 1943, as we can see here. And here we've got him. He actually went to Hitler and volunteered, and he raised an army, and he fought. He supported the Nazi aims. He was very, very happy to go and kill Jews. So here he is with the Nazis. Very, very interesting. And that's him with Hitler, having a little chat. He was a Nazi. He volunteered. He was made a general in the Nazi army. Declassified U.S. document. Palestinian schools are teaching hatred. Hatred of whom? Well, America and the Jews. And very interesting article, well worth reading to look at some of the history that we don't commonly get told. And this Egyptian-Canadian writer, Western imams who praise Islamic Caliphate are terrorists. Western politicians don't know what is really being taught in Western mosques. And that is true. Here we go. This again. Mahmoud Abbas was a KGB agent. And finally, you've seen this one. Well worth reading. I'm going to end this off here. Thank you for your time. And please leave your comments, lies, deceptions, and idiocy in the comments below. I look forward to it because the truth really seems to upset these Christians, quote-unquote, and atheists, quote-unquote, that, somehow seem very, very pro-Islamic. Thanks.